Space was silent. It was the kind of silence that felt old, heavy, and endless. No ships moved. No voices traveled. Only distant stars watched from far away, cold and uncaring. Near the broken border of human space, a lonely satellite drifted in darkness. It had been sleeping for many years with no one left to look after it. Most alien races believed humans were gone, destroyed in the last great conflict, or maybe they had simply vanished. The galaxy had already moved on. But on this quiet day, something strange happened. The satellite woke up. Its lights flickered, one by one, then a deep humming sound came from inside its old metal body. Dust and frozen particles broke away as the machine powered up. A faint blue glow spread across its antennas. And then, it sent a signal. Not a normal message. Not a distress call. Not a simple ping. It was a final signal, something created only for the most important moment. A warning. The message traveled into deep space like a fast, bright ripple. It passed through abandoned human stations, empty colonies, ruined space gates, and even dead planets where no life remained. The echo was strong, almost alive. Across the galaxy, hundreds of listening posts detected the sudden burst. The first to hear it was the Trallan Union, a calm and peaceful species. Their scanners exploded with alerts. Their commander stared at the screen and whispered, "This frequency, it is human." Others soon heard it too. The Reth Collective, famous for their advanced scanners, received the signal and immediately called for a military meeting. Their leader, General Vora, stood up in shock. "This cannot be possible. Humanity is extinct. Their space is dead." But the signal kept repeating. Soft, slow, clear. "Do not cross the threshold." That was all it said. 7 words. Yet the entire galaxy felt the weight of them. The Tarkar Dominion, once enemies of humans, panicked first. They remembered old wars. Wars humans won through impossible strategies and terrifying weapons. To them, the signal felt like a ghost returning. The Kalari Alliance, who never trusted humans, believed it was a trap. Their scientists claimed the signal was artificial or maybe left behind years ago. But no one could ignore the truth. The message was new. It was fresh. It was alive. And it was powerful enough to shake every listening post in the galaxy. Inside many control rooms, alarms rang. Screens flashed red. Operators shouted orders. People ran between stations trying to decode the signal. Yet the message remained the same. Do not cross the threshold. No explanation. No context. No mercy. Some believed the threshold meant the border of human space. Others thought it was a warning about a cosmic danger. A few worried it was a countdown, or a promise. Within hours, an emergency meeting of the Galactic Council was called. Representatives of 12 alien races sat around a wide circular table. The room buzzed with fear. Elder Arvin, the oldest member, spoke first. "Haven't humans been silent for many years?" he asked. "Yes," replied a Kalari official nervously. "Too silent." General Vora stood tall and serious. "We all know the stories. Humans do not send warnings without a reason. If this is truly their final signal, then something is very wrong." The room became quiet. Even saying human felt dangerous. After hours of debate, the council agreed to send a small scouting fleet toward the border of human space. Not too big. No one wanted to provoke humans if they had truly returned. But not too small either. There might be danger. The scouts were chosen from neutral species. They were told to observe only, not to communicate, and not to cross any human territory. As the scout fleet entered their ships, fear spread quietly among them. The stories said humans were brave, strong, stubborn, but most importantly, unpredictable. If they truly returned, then the galaxy needed to be careful. The fleet jumped into slip space, heading toward the source of the final signal. Meanwhile, the satellite that started everything continued to drift. Its power slowly faded again. The blue light dimmed. The humming stopped. But before it went silent, it sent one last burst of energy. A final echo. This time, the signal traveled deeper, beyond normal space into a region long forgotten by most species. Far beyond any trade route or star lane. It vanished into a patch of darkness where no star shined. Moments later, something inside that darkness moved. Slowly. Heavy. Ancient. A giant shadow shifted in the void, like a sleeping beast waking up. Sensors from distant stations picked up faint energy waves, but no one could understand what they were. Not yet. As the scout fleet approached human space, one of the pilots looked at his radar and froze. His voice cracked when he spoke to his commander. "Sir, I am detecting large-scale energy signatures. Something is coming out of the dark zone." "What is it?" the commander asked. The pilot swallowed hard. I think it's a fleet. The first commander stared at the screen in horror. From the darkness, shapes were forming. Huge silhouettes. Silent. Cold. Deadly. They were not alien. They were not unknown. They were human. The war fleet had returned. And the final signal was only the beginning. The scout fleet froze as the giant shapes moved out of the darkness. The pilots felt their hands shake, their breaths slow, and their hearts pound. No one expected to see this, not today, not ever. Human ships were supposed to be gone. Destroyed. Lost. But these ships were alive. The first dreadnought slid into view like a shadow carved from metal and silence. It was bigger than any alien warship the scouts had ever seen. Its hull had no markings, no lights, no symbols, only dark armor that looked older than time. Then a second ship appeared. Then a third. Then 10 more. Dozens of colossal human ships emerged from slipspace tunnels that opened and closed like giant wounds in the fabric of reality. The alien commander whispered, "This is impossible." One of his officers shook his head. "Sir, these ships, they are not from the old human navy. They look new." That was the terrifying part. Humans had disappeared for years. Yet here they were, with ships that looked more advanced, stronger, and far more dangerous than anything they had before. The scout's screen struggled to scan the fleet. Every time the sensors tried to lock on, the readings broke into static. "Are they jamming us?" an officer asked. "No," the commander replied quietly. "They are simply too strong." The dreadnoughts arranged themselves into a perfect formation. Not one ship moved out of line. Not one engine flickered. Everything about them screamed power, discipline, and silence. And silence was the worst part. No message. No welcome. No warning. Just a giant human fleet staring at them across the void. The alien commander finally gave an order, his voice trembling. "Pull back slowly. Do not make any sudden moves." The scout ships reversed, engines glowing weakly compared to the dark giants ahead. The humans did not react. They did not move closer. They simply watched. But then, the satellite's final signal echoed again. This time only the scouts heard it. "Do not cross the threshold." The alien pilots felt their skin crawl. The message sounded clearer, louder, almost like a whisper in their minds. One pilot muttered, "Threshold? Is this the threshold?" Before the commander could answer, one of the human ship's hulls shifted. Panels slid open silently. A deep, glowing light appeared inside the ship's core. Weapons? Engines? Signals? No one could tell. "Ready shields," the alien commander shouted. But instead of firing, the human ships turned, slowly and precisely, revealing the space behind them. The scouts gasped. Behind the human fleet was a massive structure hidden in the dark. It looked like a half-finished sphere, or maybe a gate, or maybe something worse. It pulsed with strange energy, like a heartbeat made of stars. "What is that?" an officer whispered. No one knew. But the humans were guarding it, protecting it, watching over it. Suddenly, another alarm rang in the scouts' ships. A new energy signal. Stronger than anything before. Not human. "Something else is coming," the pilot cried. The alien commander stared at the readings. "No, this signature. It is not from any known species." As the energy spike grew louder, the human dreadnoughts reacted instantly. Their engines ignited. Their hulls brightened. Their formation tightened. For the first time they moved straight toward the unknown signal. The scouts realized something horrifying. Humans weren't returning to attack the galaxy. They weren't here to reclaim lost territory. They weren't even responding to the council. They were chasing something. Something dangerous. Something bigger. The alien commander whispered the words that none of them wanted to hear. "Humans did not return for us. They returned for whatever is coming." Behind them, the unknown energy grew stronger, like a storm building in the dark. The human fleet accelerated, engines glowing like burning stars. They passed the scouts without firing a single shot, but the pressure of their engines pushed the small alien ships off course. It felt like a wave of power, not violent but unstoppable. As the giant ships vanished toward the dark zone, one last message flashed on the scout screens. 3 words. Cold. Simple. Final. Do not follow. The commanders felt fear settle deep in their bones. If humans warned someone not to follow, then whatever humans were chasing was something no one else should ever see. The scout fleet floated in silence long after the human dreadnoughts disappeared into the dark zone. No one dared to speak. No one dared to move. It felt as if the entire galaxy was suddenly too small, too fragile, too unprepared for whatever had just awakened. The alien commander finally broke the silence. His voice was quiet, like someone speaking inside a graveyard. We returned to the council. Now. But as the scouts turned their ships, a final echo from the human message played inside their systems. Do not follow. The pilots felt the warning like a cold hand on their shoulders. They did not follow. They did not even look back. The moment they jumped away, the darkness behind them changed again. Something old moved. Something hungry. Something that should not exist in normal space. But the scouts did not see it. Only the humans did. Back at the Galactic Council, panic ruled the room long before the scouts returned. Reports from the border showed strange energy readings, unexplained pulses, massive sensor disruptions. Yet no one knew the source. The council hall was filled with shouting. Is humanity returning to attack us? Have they built new weapons? What is the threshold? Why did they send a final signal? Where have they been all these years? Is another war starting? No one had answers. When the scout fleet finally arrived, every representative turned toward their commander. He looked pale. His hands shook. His voice cracked as he spoke. We found human ships. The entire hall went silent. No breath. No movement. He continued. They were not old ships. They were new. Strong. And they ignored us. They were guarding something. Guarding what? A council member asked. The commander swallowed. A structure. A giant one. Something hidden in the dark zone, near a dead moon. Something we do not understand. The council erupted again, until the commander raised his hand. That is not the worst part. The hall fell silent again. There is something else out there. Something the humans are chasing. A chill moved through every alien leader. General Vora, who knew humans better than most, whispered, if humans are chasing it, then it is not small. Meanwhile, near the dead moon. Far from the council, near the lonely dead moon, something else was waking up. The moon's surface cracked. Dust lifted off its dark ground. Stone plates shifted like sliding armor. Under the moon's surface was a giant metal hatch. Circles within circles, glowing soft blue as it activated. Locked mechanisms opened slowly with deep metallic echoes. For thousands of years, aliens believed this moon was dead. It was not. It was hiding a secret. A massive human hangar, built in silence long before humans disappeared. Inside the moon's core were enormous chambers filled with machines. Giant metallic racks. Glowing power cores. Repaired hull plates. Upgraded weapons. Silent human drones. Dark, armored ships waiting like sleeping beasts. Rows upon rows of warships rested inside the moon, untouched by dust or age. The hangar lights flickered back to life. A soft voice, cold and artificial, spoke through the moon's internal speakers. Activation confirmed. Human fleet returning. Threshold protocol begins. The entire structure began powering up. Thick metal arms moved slowly, adjusting ships, charging cores, preparing engines. Energy flowed through massive cables like blood through veins. One ship in particular stood at the center. A Titan-class human war vessel. Bigger than anything else. Built for one purpose. Not war against the galaxy. But war against something far worse. Its name appeared in glowing letters across its hull. HSS Sentinel Nova. The ship's AI awakened. Its systems scanned the entire moon hangar. Then it spoke in a voice that felt ancient and powerful. Threat vector approaching. Human fleet in pursuit. Final defense protocol initializing. The first hint of the enemy. Deep inside the dark zone, the human fleet detected the same energy the scouts had seen. Only now it was stronger, growing like a storm. The admiral of the human fleet stood at the center of the command deck. Her eyes were cold. Her face emotionless. Her voice steady. Enemy is accelerating, she said. A lieutenant turned quickly. Admiral, it broke through the 7th barrier. The admiral stared at the readings. Expected. Should we warn the aliens? The lieutenant asked. The admiral shook her head. No. They cannot face this enemy. They cannot understand it. This is our burden. The ship's AI projected the energy signature on screen. A black wave. A shape without form. A hunger without limit. A threat humans had discovered long ago. One they never told the galaxy about. The admiral whispered. It found us again. The human fleet armed every weapon. And this time, she said, we end it. The human fleet moved through the dark zone with perfect formation. Their engines glowed like deep blue fire, silent but powerful enough to bend the space around them. Every ship, small, large, massive, followed the admiral's lead. Behind them, the unknown black wave continued to grow. No one outside human space had ever seen something like it. The galaxy knew about pirates, monsters, rogue machines, and even ancient weapons, but this was different. This thing was alive. This thing had purpose. This thing was hunting. And humans had been fighting it alone for years. Inside the dreadnought, HSS Sentinel Nova, the admiral watched as data screens filled with new readings. Each reading was worse than the last. Enemy mass increasing, the ship AI reported. Energy density unstable. Recommendation: prepare for breach. The admiral did not blink. Charge main weapons. The dreadnought's entire body shook as huge metal plates shifted to reveal deep energy channels glowing with bright light. Around her, officers moved quickly. One officer said, "Admiral, the Council will detect this battle. Should we warn them?" "No," she replied. "Let them think we returned for war. They will stay away if they fear us." The officer nodded. Humans were not hiding to be mysterious. They were hiding because if the galaxy came close to this enemy, they would all die. Humans knew this. The galaxy did not. The enemy appears. The dark zone ahead rippled. A storm formed in space, twisting like a hurricane made of shadow. Then something inside it screamed. Not a sound, no air existed in space. But the scream was felt in the bones, in the mind, in the soul. It was a force of pure hunger, a creature without a body, only living darkness spreading like smoke. "Enemy breach in 3 seconds, the AI announced. The admiral raised her hand. "All ships, fire." The first clash. Human dreadnoughts unleashed everything at once. Beams of white energy shot through the void. Mass drivers fired metal slugs at impossible speeds. Missiles streaked out like falling stars. Ion cannons crackled with blinding arcs. The darkness screamed again as the weapons hit. Pieces of shadow tore away like burning cloth. But the enemy didn't retreat. It grew stronger. "Enemy absorbing energy," an officer shouted. The admiral stayed calm. "Expected." Switched to pulse rounds. The fleet changed patterns instantly. Weapons adapted, shifting frequencies, cutting instead of blasting. For a moment, the darkness hesitated. A tiny moment. But it was enough. "Push forward," the admiral ordered. The human fleet advanced, carving a path through the storm. Bit by bit, the shadow pulled back, like it finally recognized the enemy facing it. These were not weak aliens. These were humans. The only species that had ever heard it. The only ones it feared. The moon awakens. Far away, the hangar inside the dead moon reached full power. Giant engines roared. Massive platforms rose. Weapons locked in place. The giant ship HSS Sentinel Nova prepared to launch. Its AI reported. Primary energy barrier failing. Enemy will reach moon sector soon. The internal lights flashed red. Then a voice echoed through the hangar. The admiral's voice, carried by secure channel. "All units, prepare for full deployment. We hold them here." Back at the Galactic Council. While the battle raged far away, the council's chambers shook with fear. Alarms lit up. Screens flickered. Space near human borders exploded with unreadable signals. What are the humans doing? Are they attacking us? What is this energy spike? Is this a weapon? No one understood. Until one Kalari scientist whispered what everyone feared. This is not a human attack. This is a battle. But who are they fighting? No one had an answer. The human fleet is cornered. Back in the dark zone, the shadow creature grew larger. Its tendrils stretched forward like long arms reaching for prey. Enemy mass increasing. Humans under pressure, the AI warned. Ships shook violently as the darkness slammed into them. Shields cracked. Armor bent. Engines flickered. Then, a deep rumble spread across space. Something was opening. A slip-space gate. Not alien. Not natural. Human-made. The hangar inside the dead moon finished charging. Light exploded out of the moon's surface. A giant metal ring appeared in orbit, spinning fast. A tunnel of blue and white energy opened inside it. A ship began to rise from within the moon. Bigger than a dreadnought. Heavier than a fortress. Built like a planet-sized blade. The HSS Sentinel Nova entered space. The shadow creature paused. Remembered that ship. It feared that ship. The admiral's voice filled the fleet. "All units, fall back behind the Nova." The human fleet obeyed instantly. The admiral whispered one final order. "Begin final protocol. We end this here." The HSS Sentinel Nova moved into the battlefield like a giant awakening from a long sleep. Its dark silver hull shimmered faintly, covered in armor that no alien scientist had ever seen before. Strange symbols glowed across its surface, old human code long forgotten by the galaxy. The shadow creature trembled. Its entire form rippled like a storm trying to escape its own shape. The Admiral watched the readings from her bridge. "It remembers us," her lieutenant said. "It should," the Admiral replied calmly. "We killed it before." A shockwave rippled across the battlefield. The shadow creature roared, silent, but powerful enough to shake ships. The Nova activated its inner core. A deep vibration traveled through space. Human technology the galaxy never knew existed. Technology built not for war against other species, but for war against this. Inside the dark zone, the enemy evolves. The shadow creature began changing. Its body expanded, twisting into new shapes. Tendrils of darkness spread wide, reaching for the human fleet. Its center turned bright, glowing like a burning eye made of void. "What is it doing?" an officer asked. "Feeding," the Admiral said. "It is feeding on the dark zone." The human dreadnoughts fired pulse rounds again, but the creature absorbed most of the damage. One of the human ships, a smaller cruiser, was caught by a tendril. The officer monitoring the feed gasped. "Ship Sigma 4 trapped." The Admiral didn't blink. "Order them to eject the core." "Admiral, they won't survive. The creature grows stronger every second. We cannot give it our technology." The officer swallowed hard but obeyed. A moment later, Sigma 4's core ejected, a glowing sphere drifting away from the ship. The shadow creature lunged for it. Then, boom. The core detonated with a blinding flash. Half the creature's tendril arm shattered. But the cruiser was gone. Silence filled the bridge. The Admiral bowed her head for one heartbeat. Then she spoke, steady as steel. "All ships maintain formation. The Nova is ready." Back at the dead moon. Inside the moon's underground hangar, one last machine activated. It wasn't a ship. It wasn't a weapon. It was something older. A giant sphere, covered in human inscriptions, began to spin slowly. Blue flames danced around it. Energy surged through the moon's core. A voice echoed from the sphere. "Threshold protocol, stage 1 complete." All over the moon, hundreds of human drones launched silently, heading toward the dark zone. Their purpose was simple: to hold the line long enough for the final protocol to charge. The Galactic Council watches in fear. Thousands of light years away, every alien screen in the council chamber went wild. Weapons fire. Unknown energy. Massive signatures. And then, the emergence of the Nova. Aliens had never seen anything so massive. Not even the oldest empires had ships like that. A stunned voice broke the silence. Is this the reason humans vanished?" General Vora clenched his fists. Yes. They were not destroyed. They were preparing. "For what?" someone whispered. Vora stared at the chaotic readings. "For something worse than all of us." Return to the battle. The shadow creature now filled nearly half of the battlefield. It looked like a tornado made of liquid night, swirling and twisting, growing wilder by the second. More tendrils lashed out. Human ships dodged, fired, retreated, advanced, moving with the precision of a single mind. The Admiral watched the creature closely. "Enemy's core is forming," she said. "It is preparing a full eruption." "We cannot stop that much energy," the lieutenant warned. "No," the Admiral said. "But the Nova can." The Nova's massive front plates opened. A long horizontal beam of light extended outward. The ship was preparing its main weapon, a weapon only used once before in human history. A weapon that could tear open space. The lieutenant's eyes widened. "Admiral, using the rift cannon here will destroy the entire region." "Yes," she replied quietly. "It will destroy us too." Shock spread across the bridge. The Admiral looked at her crew, stoic, brave, loyal. Humans who knew this day would come. She whispered, "If we fail, the galaxy dies. This creature will devour every world." A quiet voice came from the helm officer. "Admiral, Nova's energy is not at full charge yet. We need 3 minutes." The Admiral nodded. "Then we hold the line for 3 minutes. The creature strikes." The shadow creature surged forward with terrifying speed. A wave of darkness slammed into half the fleet. Shields collapsed. Alarms blared. Engines flickered. One dreadnought rolled sideways, dragged into the creature's tendrils. "Admiral, we're losing control. Reinforce left flank. All fighters intercept." Human fighters burst forward like streaks of light, firing cutting rounds that sliced through shadow. But the creature kept advancing. 2 minutes left. 1 minute 30. 1 minute. The Admiral gripped the rail tightly. Hold, she shouted. Hold. The creature's core opens. At the center of the shadow creature, a glowing white crack formed, like an eye opening. Every ship's sensors went red. Admiral, IT is firing. A spear of pure darkness shot toward the Nova. The Admiral whispered. Steady. 30 seconds. 20. 10. And then, a deep voice echoed through the Nova systems. Main weapon charged. The Admiral raised her hand. All ships brace. She gave the order that would decide the fate of the galaxy. Fire the rift cannon. The bridge of the Resolute Dawn became silent. Every officer stood still. Every screen showed the same image. The human symbol glowing inside the ancient gateway. Captain Arlen stepped closer to the main display. His voice was low, almost a whisper. Commander Hale, we finally understand. Humanity did not choose to die. Humanity chose to warn. Hale nodded slowly. The final signal, it was not a call for help. It was a trigger. And then the gateway activated again. A second wave of shimmering energy moved across space, faster than light but smoother than any known technology. Every ship inside the Allied fleet felt its systems shift. Diagnostic lights flickered, weapons recalibrated, shields adjusted. Human codes spread through their computers like invisible hands making preparations. Lieutenant Rhea looked terrified. Sir, our systems are changing on their own. We are being upgraded. Arlen understood. This was Earth's gift. This was humanity's final protection protocol. Suddenly, multiple alarms rang. A new object appeared on the scanner, massive, cold, and not from any known civilization. Admiral Saren gripped the edge of the console with his claws. No, this cannot be. This species was only a myth. From the distant dark, a colossal shape moved forward. It looked like a drifting moon, but its surface shifted like black metal liquid. Rhea's hands shook as she read the data. Unknown hostile vessel. Energy level, beyond measurement. Arlen's heart felt heavy. The war fleet did not arrive because they wanted to help us. Hale finished the sentence for him, voice filled with dread. They arrived because something even worse heard the final signal too. The alien moon-like vessel opened slowly, like a jaw. Red light poured out. The darkness around it bent as if pulled by gravity. Saren, usually calm, shouted, "Prepare all shields. Prepare full fleet formation. The enemy is locking on." But before the enemy fired, the gateway flared again, so bright the entire bridge was bathed in white. A message appeared on the screens in ancient human script. It translated itself instantly. Warning, Earth protocol initiated. Last defense mode active. All friendly species, stand behind the armada. Rhea turned in shock. Friendly species? Humanity prepared this for others? Arlen felt his throat tighten. Humanity knew they would fall. But they also knew the galaxy would need them again. The empty space in front of the gateway began to fill. One ship, then 5, then 50. Human warships, ghost ships from the past, appeared one after another. Their hulls burned with blue-white fire. Their weapons glowed with power not seen in 1,000 years. Hale's voice broke. Sir, the war fleet is not arriving from another star system. They are arriving from storage. From Earth's deep time vault. The largest ship of all, a dreadnought the size of a small continent, moved to the front. On its side, a single marking glowed. Terralast shield. Arlen whispered. Humanity left us their strength, for the day the darkness returned. The alien moon vessel charged its weapon. The human war fleet responded instantly. A storm of light and fire ignited the black space. The battle for the galaxy had finally begun. And humanity, the lost species, had returned as warriors of pure legend.